Your house, your rules. You can start anywhere you want. We can break it down. Hi, I'm Brian with Pier. We just got to Kansas City, Kansas, and we're about to start a foundation inspection on a property. Here, it's allowing it to hold.
Okay.
So you're kind of getting a combination of both.
It's kind of stay there at the house.
Yeah.
There's inch gap at the top.
Yep.
Beside it.
The positive thing is they didn't pour that with the top cap, which is fantastic because typically they're poured with it. So when this starts to move, it causes stress on the structure.
Oh.
But with them pouring it independently, it's not pulling it. So
It's good for not cracking.
Cosmetic versus structure, which you don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's not doing any damage. So that's the positive.
At least there's some positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And then where was the other concerns that we had?
There's a couple in the garage.
Okay.
That we can just go straight into.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought these were just maybe like surface cracks of it.
Yep.
Initial settling.
Yep.
That's where it wouldn't be structural, but you would know better.
Yeah,
How they look.
understandable. So right here, you have a footing. What they've been doing lately is they've been putting footings in the center of garage floors because typically this is where a beam would be. So you have that post, but they don't have that. That's why you have this crack that goes all the way around. There's 36 to 48 inches of concrete sitting here that's holding the center of this so it doesn't belly drastically in the middle.
Okay.
And then what's happening is as this is settling around, it's causing these stretch fractures that come off the center of the.
Okay.
Also, cosmetics. It's not doing anything to the structure, but seeing what kind of void is under here would help prevent you having to fix this later.
Okay.
So you could do something as a pre-drill a couple holes to see what the void is, to see how big it is. So that way you can either do what's called a void fill. You fill the cavity, compress it so it saves this. Or you can get a little bit of recovery out of it, pull it up, and kind of take the stress off the sides here. Because you can see where it was originally poured.
Yeah.
And see how much it was dropped just a little bit, which is very, very minor when it comes to it. But if you catch it beforehand, saves thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and this is only a 5-year-old house, so
Yeah.
hopefully most of the major settling is done to where
Yeah.
if we get some of this stuff done, we're set for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm glad that this is mainly cosmetic at the moment and that there's a fixed bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down the road.
The only way this starts to become structural is if this starts to settle too drastically and causes pressure on the main foundation.
Okay.
It's rare it happens on this side. Typically it's on that side because that's usually a frost footing. So it's 48 to 50 inches deep. Saying what happens is as this drops, it's just pushing against the soil outside.
Okay.
So it doesn't have a lot of structure to hold on to.
Gotcha.
That's usually the biggest issue that you'd have doing this.
Okay. And that's why I see a few extra cracks on that side. Again, pretty thin ones, but
Yeah,
definitely makes sense. Not only like the mechanics behind it, the engineering.
Yeah. So what they do, and unfortunately they do it everywhere, is when they backfill the garages and front porch, it's where all the leftover dirt, debris, trash, it's where they put everything once the dumpster's gone. They put it in here and then they concrete over it. A majority of the structures are the same way no matter where you go. That's why you see a lot of the issues in the garage and a lot of issues on the front porch in that area because they don't compact it very well. Then they also got to excavate 5 to 7 foot away from the house to build everything, and then they just rough soil the back of it. So they don't, over time, that's why you have to do a lot of the grading and maintenance around the structure is because it just compacts and compacts through the seasons itself.
Okay. That makes sense. And also, when I'm trying to get water away from the house, probably end up having to mess with the grade in the back because I see spots where it's cooling and it's washing out a little bit around the pad back there. So we can head.
Yeah,
This sleeve is also kind of sunk down
which
a little bit.
indicates, so when they, this is where it was originally. That's why you see the two different colors.
Yeah.
When they painted the house, this is where your soil was.
Yeah, so it has
So you
good
have
3-4 inches of
which
erosion.
matches that as well. It's just what happens is it just naturally compacts with the weather. Mother Nature can compact soil better than anybody can. So when you go over the years of soil and moisture, it just slowly compacts everything into place.
Okay.
So nothing bad is happening. It's just Mother Nature right now.
Doing this. There on both sides they tried to dig out, but then also kind of rain. You can see even where they've been, been washing out a little bit. There's kind of a spot over on the other side. It doesn't look like it's washed out enough yet back here
to cause the issue.
Cause any issue, but
yeah, it's more of a void fill to prevent conditions getting. Yeah, and I mean you can see where everything was as well. Yeah.
So we can head inside. We gotta go back through the garage.
No problem at all.
But here's a small crack in here.
Yeah.
Kind of spider webbing. I think there might be, I can't remember if there's a small one under here, but that's where the sub pump is. You can see it has the vent out there.
Runs out, discharges out.
Yeah, it looks like there's one.
And you know it's still functioning?
There. Yes.
Okay. Foundation walls are in really good condition. You have a hairline crack coming off that window, which is relatively normal. So your outside wall is right here.
Okay.
So ideally, this is so close that when you get your normal movement, this is a weak point.
Okay.
Because you only have this much concrete to deal with it. From here to here is how thick your foundation wall is.
Okay.
So your corner outside is right here.
Gotcha.
And it's the same over here. So typically, it's not like it's not against code, but we don't put them this close for this reason.
Okay.
There's not a lot here to hold the structure when it does its normal shifting. So you're going to get some of this here.
Okay.
The other thing is it looks like your drains are not working outside, or maybe it was clogged at some point because you can see the dirt that's coming over the window.
Okay.
You see the dirt that's building up in here. So I would clean that, and then I'd recommend getting a lid, a cover.
Okay.
That looks like it's a standard window well, so we have covers that can go over it. So that way when it rains, that rain just don't actively fill up in here and cause another problem.
Okay.
So this is relatively an easier fix. The floor we're standing on is floating. It's independent from the house.
Okay.
It's not rebarred into the structure because our soils are garbage.
Yeah.
So what happens is as our soils expand and retract, if they had rebar in the floor, what happens is as it expands and lifts the floor, there's not enough weight here for the rebar to press it back down. So you'd be stuck with a constant bulge.
Okay.
And if it did that, it would pull the foundation with it. So that's why they're independent.
Okay.
So the cracks you're showing me on the floor are completely natural for the soils we live in, unfortunately.
Okay.
The one over here indicates that you have some water underneath, which is good on why we have this. So when you have a lot of water, what you'll do is you'll see where it expands, and we call this a star crack.
Okay.
Because this is where all the moisture was that expanded. So this is your stress point.
Okay.
That causes it. It's not causing any water. Very, very rare will you get water through any cracks on the floor.
Okay.
Usually if you get water, it's through the cold joint here. but that's also so close to the pump that the pump's probably relieving everything you need there. That's why you haven't seen water here.
Okay.
You also have what you see stains here.
Yeah.
That's from when they built the house. The house was the joist and everything wasn't up yet when it rained. And this is just the water runoff that came over the side of it that they didn't clean.
Okay.
So that's not active.
That's good.
So you see that in a lot of houses. You have it here.
Yeah, I see it some on the right as well.
Yeah, so that's just when they built the house. That's what was going on.
Okay.
So the main structure itself looks really good. There's no cracking. There's nothing in there stating that you have any settlement at all. When you have a settlement crack, what happens is the bottom of the crack is very pinched, and as it comes up, it pulls apart.
Okay.
And when you have settlement, you got to have two breaks because concrete's not designed to move.
Right.
So as it wants to move, you got to have two stress break points. And you don't have any of them. You have two minor hairline cracks that I've seen. One comes off the beam here.
Okay.
I see it because that's what I'm looking for.
I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, you have a very one, and the indicator that it's not an issue at the moment is they're coming off of what we call weak points in the foundation. That's a cutoff.
Yeah.
So it's not fully 8 inches thick. So when you get that normal stress movement from the foundation, this is where the stress point breaks. And then your other one is in the window there because obviously the window's there.
Yeah.
When you go into basements, you see them off of the standard windows. So as it comes down, those are always, the ones that come straight up and down are typically just natural stress points. As long as they're not expanding, which this one's not at all, and that one isn't either. The main foundation of the house is in good condition.
Okay, that's good.
Those are good. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing there.
Okay.
I wouldn't go from there. But yeah, if you give me 10, 15 minutes, draw the house, take some pictures, get all that put together.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'll have some numbers we can sit down and go over.
All right. Sounds good
Perfect.
to me. Yep.
Yeah. Let's go outside and have some fun. Yet, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to drill a little hole through the section of your sidewalk and your landing, and what we do is we inject a 1-to-1 foam that goes underneath it. It goes in like water, and as it goes in like water, the reason is it catches all the cracks and crevices, and then it activates. As soon as it activates, it expands. As it expands, it compresses the soil underneath it, and then it gets enough pressure to lift the structure. So as you're doing that, you're getting two things. It's helped compressing so it doesn't settle in the future. And then it lifts it back up and gives it some structurally to stand on. With that, we have taken this downspout and tunneling under the sidewalk and running it out to daylight. So that way, none of this affects what you have going on here. Okay. After that, what I recommend you don't have to do is do carbon fiber stitching on that massive crack. It's basically like adding rebar to the concrete. We come in, we drill some holes, and basically it looks like stitching that goes in there. So it bonds both of these back together. So both of them are feeding off each other to structurally keep it in place.
Okay.
Once we get done, we come back and we grind it down smooth. So you just see very little, it's like a scar. You see little scars, that's it. But it bonds it. holds very well. During that process, what we're going to do back here is we're going to do the same. We're going to drill some holes in there, and then we're just going to inject the material to fill the void.
Okay.
We're not trying to recover anything, but we're trying to prevent either animals from going in there living, creating new barriers, but also prevent it from getting worse. So you have another 10, 15 years out of it. Um, the one, the one way that I explain poly to everybody is if you're looking for perfect, replace. If you're looking for a little bit more longevity out of it, 5, 10, 15 more years, we can do that.
Okay.
It's not going to look perfect. It's going to look like the same concrete. As we lift to the limitations of the concrete. So I'm going to lift, but if the concrete starts creating hairline cracks or starting to fracture and become unstable, then we're going to stop and leave it where it is so it doesn't get worse.
Gotcha.
There's nothing here that indicates that we can't get none of it back. Just have to let you know up front of what's going on. During that, we'll pre-drill some holes through the garage, so that way we can see if you have a void or not. If we have a void, the vehicle's already here. Worst case, it might be a couple $100.
Okay.
Depending on what it is, I would say there's probably a small void, just because of what you see.
Okay.
And then what we'll do there is we'll also put in egress window lids here. If you did everything, you'd be at 3,000 flat.
Okay.
I'll get these notes together, get all that put together. I'll get it sent over in about 30 minutes after I get all the notes.
Okay.
Your house, your rules. You can start anywhere you want. We can break it down.